once thought I could save the world. Now look at it.
In yet another augmented terror attack, 251 passengers aboard Sister Airlines Flight 451 were killed when an augmented passenger broke into the plane's cockpit and ruthlessly butchered its flight crew. Details recovered from the black box recorder suggest that the man may have been suffering flashbacks to the AUG incident. That horrible day 2 years ago when augmented people all over the world flew into a psychotic killing spree, causing the greatest loss of life in recent history.
Sometimes, you just have to let go. And embrace what you've become.
Not gonna go all wonky on us now, Hansa, are ya?
Well, if I do, McCready, I guarantee you'll never see it coming.
Agent Jensen! Am I gonna have a problem with you?
No, sir. No reason to assume you would.
Good, because you are the only augmented operative on this team, and I intend to make good use of you.
Listen up, all of you.
We got a sandstorm barreling down our arse and we can't afford to make mistakes. We're going after this man, an arms dealer named Shepard. He's ex-Bell Tower, one of the Special Forces commanders who disappeared during the incident.
And he's come out of hiding. That cannot be good.
It's not. He's selling weapons and military-grade augments to terrorists. This is Iran Singh, the undercover agent who lured Shepard out of his hole. Best you see Interpol's got. For 3 years he's worked hard to get in tight with the Jinn, an Iraqi smuggling cartel that's infected the Eastern Hemisphere like a plague. Last week, our arms dealer sent a message to the Jinn, offering to sell them a shitload of black market merchandise dirt cheap. They told Singh to handle the buy.
They're not gonna like it when Interpol disrupts that party. Singh's cover really that good?
It is right now. We need to keep it that way. This is where the deal's going down. A half-finished high-rise hotel that's been abandoned ever since the incident. It's not a pretty picture inside.
Let me guess. Most of the laborers were augmented with heavy-duty industrial rigs. So when the incident hit, and they all went schizo, things got gruesome real fast.
And no one, except for some homeless junkies, have been inside the place ever since.
So what's the plan, Director?
Singh's meeting Shepard on the ground floor, inside the hotel's main atrium. He sent the bulk of his Jinn crew to the penthouse levels to secure a vantage point. I want McCready's team to take up positions overlooking the atrium and make the arrest. Jensen, you're going in solo from the roof.
My objectives?
Keep the Jinn from joining the party. As far as we can tell, only one route connects the atrium to the penthouse level, a halfway decent elevator shaft. Here. I want you to block access to it.
Fine. Just cut me loose.
Do you plan on relying solely on your augments for this one? I'd recommend taking a little hardware, just to be sure.
We've got a UC in there. Might be easier to maintain his cover if he's not the only one still breathing when this is done.
Smart thinking.
Yeah, but if anything does happen to him, you'll be telling his wife. After you get out of the hospital, of course.
What about range? There's lots of wide spaces and high ceilings in there, but a number of tight and constrained rooms too.
So it's a crapshoot, really.
Never was one to play the odds. Give me something I can use up close.
You got it. One last thing, Jensen. Singh said the Jinn are using some sort of portable Wi-Fi device to boost communications. He's got a better chance of maintaining cover if you disable it.
We'll keep an eye out for it. But aren't we on the clock here? You said there's a sandstorm moving in.
There is, and we got the intel on this mission at the very last minute, so we're scrambling a little. If it comes to it, your number one priority is keeping the Jinn out of that atrium.
Copy that.
Time to put away your happy thoughts, gentlemen. We're approaching the target building.
You're up first, Jensen. Let's do this.
Task Force Actual. This is Knife Leader. Engage Hush drives and descend to Angels 1-5.
Team leader, this is Jensen. I'm on the roof.
Solid copy. Move into the building. The access route you need to block is at the far end of the penthouses. And keep in mind, the direct route might not be the easiest one.
Roger that.
McCready will advise once his team is on the ground. Miller out.
Jensen, we're moving through... Oh, fuck!
What's wrong?
The Gen have got a few Jennies up and running. We're gonna have to hack keypads.
Should enjoy it, McCready. They have colors and shapes. Just remember, red means bad.
Fuck you.
Of 500 million kilometers, to a radio telescope on Earth, one in Australia, say. The telescope then passes the information via communications satellite in Earth orbit to Southern California. There, it's transmitted by a set of microwave relay towers to a computer at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And there, it is processed. The picture is fundamentally like a newspaper wire photo, made of perhaps 1 million individual dots of different shades of gray, so fine and close together that at a distance, the constituent dots are invisible. We see only their cumulative effect. The information from the spacecraft specifies how bright or dark each dot is to be. After processing, the dots are then stored on a magnetic disk, something like a phonograph record. By this day, there were already 11,000 pictures from Voyager 2 in our electronic library. Finally, the end product of this remarkable set of links and relays is a hard copy which comes out of this machine showing, in this case, the wonders of Europa, which were recorded for the first time in human history today. It is absolutely astonishing. See, Voyager 1 got very good pictures of the other 3 big moving Galilean satellites of Jupiter, but not of Europa. What's left to Voyager 2 today, you get the first close-up pictures of Europa where we see things that are only a few kilometers across. And at first glance, it looks like nothing so much as the canal network of Mars that Percival Lowell imagined to exist on that planet. We see an amazing, intricate network of crisscrossing straight and curved lines. Are these straight lines ridges? Are they troughs? Is it connected with plate tectonics on the Earth? How does it illuminate the other satellites of the Jovian system? At this moment, the vaunted technology has produced something astonishing, but it remains for the limitations and cleverness of another device, the human brain, to figure it out. Fortunately, we have plenty of pictures to help us.
What about Dean's idea of geysers down the troughs?
Geysers down the troughs?
Jensen,
well, you gotta have a
Mac,
mechanism to
listen
drive
up.
it.
Larry Soderblom, Voyager Imaging Team.
Some wild
Doppler shows that sandstorm's moving in fast. It's big, and it's gonna hit us hard.
God, I hate the fucking desert. Confirm visual?
I can. Time is not on our side.
Copy that.
Solid copy.
سمعت دوشة. انت متأكد ان هو جاي من هنا؟ أكيد كنت غلطان. خلاص نرجع للدورية بتاعتنا بقى. اللي مأخره كده. الشمس كان ريحة الموت قدامك.
البوستل اوريدي؟
عشان المخزن والمخازن اللي موجودة على السطح عشان تكون بعيدة من الرمل.
Good. There is too much riding on this deal. Last thing we need is the comms breaking down.
فهمت. يلا نبتدي نتحرك.
McCready, how you making out?
Slower than expected. It's like someone's tilled a fucking cemetery down here.
Say again?
When the shit hit the fan in 27, the rush must have been for the stairs. There's corpses everywhere. Bloody... Your cousins are here too, Jensen. Want me to grab you any spare parts?
No parts, but I take mine with cream and 2 sugars while you're asking.
واللي انا عايزه ان اخرج من المكان الكئيب ده. شايف حاجة؟
No, there's nothing here, just the sand.
The Voyager 1 encounter with Jupiter, I was looking at an optical navigation frame. Now, in enhancing this particular quadrant, it became very evident to me was an anomalous crescent in the upper left-hand corner, just off the limb of Io.
What was it? The plume turned out to be exactly in the position of one of the suspected volcanoes.
So basically, we realized at that point that what we were observing was a volcanic plume, and in fact, a volcanic eruption.
Voyager had discovered the first active volcano beyond the Earth. We then found that Io has many volcanoes. There are at least
Jensen,
9 intermittent
what's your
reactive
20?
plumes.
Working my way through the penthouses.
Remember to keep an eye out for the Jin's communications booster. If you can, disable it.
Roger that.
يا ريت يتحرك بسرعة شوية. لو الريحة هاجت علينا هنموت.
Low down the sides of the volcanic mountains and are the probable source of Io's distinctive colors. The volcanoes may be tapping some vast underground ocean of liquid sulfur beneath the surface that is only a few thousand years old. So far, in our voyages to the outer solar system, we humans have stayed home and sent our robots and computers to explore in our stead. Someday, perhaps, we'll go ourselves. But suppose, like those computers aboard Voyager keep a ship's log. That log, a combination of the events of Voyager 1 and 2, might be something like this. Day 1. After much concern about conditions and instruments, we successfully lift off from Cape Canaveral on our long journey to the planets and the stars. Day 13. We have taken the first photograph of the Earth and Moon as worlds together in space. How pretty they are. Day 170. A problem with the deployment of the boom that supports the science platform. If the problem is not solved, we will be unable to take most of our pictures. Day 207. Boom problem solved, but failure of main radio transmitter. The backup transmitter also fails. No one on Earth will ever hear from us again. Day 215. We cross the orbit of Mars and enter the main asteroid belt. Day 570. We can now make out finer detail on Jupiter than the largest telescopes on Earth have ever obtained. Day 640. The cloud patterns are distinctive and gorgeous. No painter trapped on Earth ever imagined a world so strange and lovely. The white clouds are ammonia crystals, high and cold. We do not know the nature of the red-brown clouds. Maybe phosphorus or sulfur is a stain, or perhaps complex organic molecules of the sort that led 4 billion years ago back on Earth to the origin of life. And what is the great red spot? It is an immense, swirling column of gas reaching high above the adjacent clouds, so large that it could hold half a dozen Earths. Its motion hypnotizes us. Some think that the red spot is a great spinning storm, 1,000,000 years old. Day 650, encounter, day of wonders. The ship maneuvers so we can take pictures of the multi-ringed basin on Callisto. Images of the astonishing lined surface of Ganymede. A close passage by Europa. And a view of volcanic Io. We successfully negotiate the treacherous radiation belts and accomplish the ring plane crossing. Looking back, we marvel at the rings and see the sun emerge from behind the giant planet. We are outward bound on our mission to explore the outer solar system. 10,000 years from now, Voyager will plunge onward to the stars. We have made the ships that sail the sea of space.
For them to listen in on the deal.
Good work. With luck, Singh's cover will still be intact when this is over.
Roger that. Moving on to primary target now.
Moving in!
دقيقة. قدام. Let's surround this bastard. أنا هستنى هنا. أكيد هيرجع. استنى هنا. Now I have you!
Jensen, we're inside the atrium, taking up positions on the terraces. What's your 20?
Still moving.
Well, hurry the fuck up. Enemy helos inbound and this sandstorm's getting close. You get that comms booster disabled?
Affirmative. Booster's fried.
So maybe the Tin Man does have a heart after all. Way to look out for your team. Creedy out.
Anomaly detected. trace program initiated. Access granted.
This is Jensen. Penthouse access route secure. Jin shouldn't be a problem. Over.
Copy that. About fucking time. Enemy helo sighted. All right, strike force. Position and hold.
Strike 1, in position.
Strike 2, all set. Strike 3, yeah.
Strike 4 in position and holding, boss. Eyes up, safety's off, guys.
Yeah, no shit, brown nose.
Watch your fucking mouth, Halliday.
Both of you shut up. 5 in position.
Everybody stay sharp. Singh's got eyes on Shepard. Patching you in now.
Target's in the AO. Remember, Singh's down there, so watch your fire.
You got balls, Singh? Executing a buy with a sandstorm on our ass?
I cannot take credit for Mother Nature, mister.
You can call me Shepard.
How biblical. Are these the weapons?
The Ogs. They're getting harder to come by. Guns are still on the chopper. Show me the cash, quick, and we'll...
Oh, what the?
The part has been crashed. Shepard is dead.
What? By who? What's going on down there?
Miller, this isn't the Jinn. Repeat, it's not the Jinn.
They're after the weapons. Open fire! Open fire!
Weapons free! Open up on
Greedy, make it a grab for the chopper. You got a shot?
Negative. We're under heavy fire down here. We can't let that chopper take off, Jensen.
I got it.
This is bad! They're closing in! We're gonna lose Singh! Jensen, I can't reach him!
Jensen, this sandstorm might have just bought us some time, but you need to disable that chopper.
Copy that.
This is bad! They're closing in! We're gonna lose Singh! Jensen, I can't reach him!
Jensen, this sandstorm might have just bought us some time, but you need to disable that chopper.
Copy that. Miller, chopper's been grounded. Repeat.
Jensen! You're welcome.
Shit.
artificial eyes to prosthetic limbs.
From molecular-sized computers.
Human-controlled evolution available to all.
We will merge with machines, with computers.
When this is done, the Illuminati won't be able to control men and women like you. No, stop! And plan.
Scenes of horror on the streets of Detroit.
What kind of madness has gripped mechanically augmented people?
Shanghai, Los Angeles, Ankara, Dubai.
People are dying out there. Millions of people.
The search for survivors in Pangaea has been downgraded to a recovery mission.
The Czech Republic leads a growing list of countries calling for the relocation of its augmented citizens.
It's a new world, Adam. It's afraid of people like us.
Bust into safe and secure
Seraphine Industries closely enforced.
You didn't think it would end with the AUG incident, did you?
We were victims. This is retribution for a tragedy we could not control.
They control the news. They buried the truth with disinformation.
Multiple detonations. Looks like car bombs.
Another terrorist attack, this time in a police station.
The United Nations Security Council has passed
The new anti-terrorist intelligence and response team will have global jurisdiction. 29.
Agent Jensen.
I won't let it happen again.
What have the events in Dubai cost us?
They knew the risks.
How many assets did we lose?
All of them. The sandstorm didn't help.
The mission was a success.
Clearly, your scale for success is a generous one. However, the erratic nature of the attack could work to our advantage. Interpol will be confused for weeks, and with our continued guidance, the people will come round eventually. We are all in this for the long game, after all.
That's never changed.
You think so? Do I need to remind you all how far we have veered off course? The AUG incident has caused a schism in society. Things are worse than we projected, and growing more unstable every day. This will not be tolerated. To ensure the success of our vision, the disruptive elements must be excised.
No one here disagrees with you. But let me fly to New York and I will personally evaluate the situation. We may already have the votes we need to ensure that the Human Restoration Act passes.
Very well. Stanton, you accompany. We may need to exert financial as well as political pressure to silence anyone opposed. Proceed. Elizabeth, I'll contact you later.
It won't succeed, Lucius, even with Dowd's money. You know what Rand will find in New York? Weak, ineffectual men. And with Nathaniel Brown still an unknown factor.
Of course. That is why we're proceeding with our alternate strategy. You have claimed much in the past, Paige. This is your chance to deliver.
Everything is in place. We can initiate whenever you wish.
I'll secure your communications, Bob. Jaina seems to have eyes everywhere these days. He and his Juggernaut Collective...
Jaina's won't be an issue. I've made arrangements. I laid the foundations. Now it is time to get everyone's attention. Paige, activate the sleep cell.
Konečná stanice Růžičkovo nádraží. Příjezd za 5 minut.
Miller, it's Jensen. Just getting off the train now.
Copy that. We'll debrief when you get in. You coming straight to the office?
Unless there's a problem at a checkpoint.
Your papers should be in order. Just keep your head down. Miller out.
Hot off.
Everything should be in order. No, I'm afraid they are not.
You, come here.
Me?
Yes, you. What is your name?
Oh, so sorry.
I'm very sorry.
Damn it.
Oh, cool. You damn clank. Why don't you watch where you're going?
Here, let me help you with that, ma'am.
Man? Seriously?
I could have gone with Sweetie. You get my message about Dubai?
Yeah. I'm glad you're all right, Adam. That ambush sounded pretty bad, man.
Not something I was expecting, that's for sure. Any idea who hit us?
Well, I'm sure your task force will come up with something. And that it won't be what the Juggernaut Collective digs up. Kinda odd, though, don't you think? Interpol sending your team, the Prague team, to Dubai in the first place?
Miller said they were scrambling. Last minute intel. We were the only strike team available.
Yeah, well, that's a lie. Better get moving. The Collective has been keeping tabs on all task force divisions ever since we slipped you into one of them. They've got a team in Oman. Could have been a hell of a lot faster than you guys.
So why send us?
I don't know. If the task force is an Illuminati front, like we all suspect, it doesn't make much sense to send it into an ambush.
Unless they wanted our team to see something. Officially.
Augoved, připravte si papíry. Připravte si papíry na inspekci.
Don't make a scene, Adam.
Wouldn't dream of it, Alex.
Nezastavuj se!
I swear it's gotten even worse here in the past few days. Everyone looking over their shoulder. Terrified Augs like us are going to attack them again.
Somebody probably will. Treat people like animals long enough, they'll start acting like animals.
You say that like there's nothing we could do to stop it.
I already tried 2 years ago. It didn't work out so well.
So what? Are you saying we should just give up? Let hatred and prejudice take over? To hell with that!
I'm saying I can only go after enemies I see, Alex. The men who caused all this, the true power brokers, they're the ones I need to stop. I thought you knew that.
I do. You, me, the Juggernaut Collective, we're all trying to stop them. It doesn't mean turning a blind eye to...
Then help me find them.
Get back in line, sir.
Okay, I wait here.
Hold it! Hand over your papers. Just watch yourself, Clank.
Hello, sir. Would you like to... I love this on you. Make this any harder than it has to be.
I hate this city. Come on. If you're right about Dubai, about the Illuminati needing your team as witnesses, then we need to find out why. Who gave you the order to mobilize?
Miller did. But it probably came from someone higher up the chain.
Doesn't mean he's not in on it. Ever heard of the NSN?
The neural subnet, sure. In TF-29, directors use it to plan ops and communicate privately in cyberspace. What's this?
Whisper chip. Custom-made wiretap device. Janus designed it to fit inside the NSN's motherboard.
Ah, the elusive Janus. Leader of the hacktivists. Am I ever gonna meet this guy?
Someday, maybe. Right now you need to concentrate on Miller and find a way to access the NSN's motherboard.
Alex, you okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get out of here. Do you hear that? I'm gonna check it out.
Okay, be careful. We'll talk.
Stand back, let me help. Hold on. Shit. Alex, it's Adam.
Hey, you sound like shit. How you feeling?
A little sore, but I'll be alright. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I've been through worse. Jesus, how fucked up is that to think, huh?
Listen, Alex, my systems are acting up a little, so I've got to get checked out. But if you want a maid or...
What? No, I'm fine, man. You just take care of you. This girl's built tough. Give me a call when you're useful again, okay?
Alright, I will. Talk to you soon.
Oh, yeah! You know, before the music there, I was talking about some serious shit. So let's keep going. First of all, let me get this out of the way when talking about the AUG incident. I've always hated that title. Incident? Incident? Steve losing the head after eating 3 burritos and forgetting to light a match. That's an incident. What happened that fateful day in 2027 was beyond terror any of us has ever seen. AUG incident? Try AUG travesty. Try AUG massacre. How about AUG Armageddon? Because that's where we're headed, thanks to the horror of the Illuminati and their Humanity Front puppets unleashed on the Earth that day. I'm taking the time in this broadcast to remember, not so we can get together and cry about lives lost. I lost people too, and they should never be forgotten. No, I'm doing it because the AUG Insa Massageddon is only the first of many horror shows we're about to be subjected to, unless we figure this shit out fast. Remember the Cold War and how we sat on the brink of destruction, minute by minute? How we hated the commies and the commies hated us? How they had a way of life that we couldn't fucking stand and it was only a matter of time before they swallowed us up in their ideology and technological superiority? I don't either, actually, but my grandpa used to tell me about those days, and let me tell you, followers, it's starting to sound awfully fucking familiar.
Open blinds. From? Play it.
I know it's been a while, but after what happened in Prague yesterday... Look, son, whatever reasons you've had for not... Sure. I'm leaving for London soon, but...
You saved his vidcall number?
Adam! Thanks for calling me back, son.
Seraph.
I heard about the bombing in Prague. It's all over the news. Did anyone you know get hurt?
You know me. I tend to keep to myself. I'm surprised you even know I'm here.
Interpol called me when you applied for the job, part of their extensive background checks. I gave you a glowing recommendation.
Thanks. What do you want?
What do I want? Jeez, Adam! I know I did some questionable things in the past, but a lot's happened in the last 2 years. To both of us.
That's true. For what it's worth, I'm glad you made it out of Panchaea.
Thank you. It wasn't easy, as I'm sure you know. I was at death's door by the time the rescue crews pulled me out of the wreckage, and while the doctors were stitching me back together, my company fell apart. Wasn't anything I could do to stop it, not from a hospital bed.
I heard Tai Young Medical bought everything up.
They're the only biotech corporation that could, after the incident. Our patents, our tech, everything. Oh well, sometimes one dream has to die so another can rise from its ashes.
You heard anything from Megan?
After all we went through, I thought she'd stand by me. Still, you know, she always wanted to be at the cutting edge. She didn't see a future for herself in Detroit, so she went to VersaLife.
She moved to Hong Kong?
San Francisco. They've got an offshore research facility there named Rokaseca Beach. I'm sure you've seen it in the news.
California, huh? I wonder if she's told her mother.
You want my advice, son? Write her out of your life, because I'm damn sure she's written us out of hers.
You talked to Pritchard lately?
Frank! Out of all of us, I think he's the one who's changed the least.
He'd probably tell you there wasn't anything about him that needed changing.
I'm sure he would. But when the world transforms itself the way ours has, people need to adapt or get left behind. Frank's freelance now, but he's still in computer security, still in Detroit. I don't know if he'll ever leave.
Your message said you were going to London. Casual trip? Or is this tied to the new dream?
I'm meeting with the Santo Group, Nathaniel Brown and his investors.
Santo? They built the Udalek complex, the Og Ghetto, here in Prague. Why are you meeting with them?
Brown's got big plans. He wants to focus on real solutions, ideas that look to the future. You've heard of the Safe Harbor Initiative?
I've heard of Rabia. The walled city he and his company are building in the desert for Augs.
Rabia's just a part of it. We're talking about self-sustaining, energy-efficient arcologies that can be replicated anywhere on Earth. Cities built by the augmented, for the augmented.
Where the dream of self-controlled human evolution lives on.
It may not seem like it right now, son, but one day, people will move on from the incident. And when that happens, we'll be ready for it. I'm glad we caught up, Adam. I've always tried to look out for you, you know. That bombing yesterday.
You didn't call to talk about the bombing. Just ask.
It's nothing, really. I just need a signature so I can finish filing the bankruptcy paperwork.
You need my signature?
Yeah, apparently there was some kind of bureaucratic mix-up caused by you being declared legally dead for a year. The apartment in Detroit was leased in your name even though we paid for it.
Fine. Send me the paperwork.
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it, really.
Goodbye, Seraph. Miller, it's Jensen.
It's good to finally hear from you, Agent. You doing okay?
Sorry about the downtime. I'll get to the office as soon as I can, but my Augs took a hit during the attack. I need to get them looked at.
Of course. There's a lot of work ahead of us, Jensen. I'll see you when you get in.
You are one of the gifted, friend.
Dr. Kohler,
Join us
I need
in
to pay you a
Machine
visit.
God.
Jensen! Now's actually a really good time for me, like right now.
Something wrong?
There are some guys in my bookshop.
Is our
Pissed
only
off the
escape
valley
from this
gangster-looking
flesh-flawed
guys. So, unless you want bloodshed the day after a terror attack...
The front door isn't the most peaceful option. I got it.
Seeker, are you prepared for the ascension?
I think you've got the wrong guy.
No, I can see your purity. You are close, so close, and the Singularity Church of the Machine God can help take you the rest of the way. You know of it?
I don't think your church can help me get where I'm going.
Each of us lives with needs and desires, begging and howling for attention, for fulfillment. We barely have time to ponder what, if anything, lies beyond this wretched world.
And you have some idea of what that might be?
I am but a servant, tasked with spreading the word and offering hope to those who have none. But I have the teachings of the Church to guide me. What would you like to know?
This Singularity Church of the Machine God. For augmented only?
The word of the Mother. Only the gifted will ascend. She has cast out the flesh-flawed in preparation.
So you're here on a recruitment drive, to fill up the numbers.
And more. The Builder lives in this place, the dreamer of our ascension, now cast out at the will of the Mother.
Let me guess, he's one of the flesh-flawed.
No, he simply had a crisis of faith. But I am not so blinded by my faith as others are. He was a friend once, a mentor, a leader in our church. Some of us remember. Do you have more questions?
Tell me more about this ascension.
Our minds will depart their corporeal shells and merge with the divine consciousness of the Machine God. This is the ascension.
Sounds like you're talking about uploading a copy of your brains to a computer. I didn't think that was possible yet.
Thanks to the Builder, it is. But it is much more than a simple copy. It is transference. Joseph called it an evolution of the human condition. Do you have more questions, Seeker?
Nothing right now. Maybe some other time.
Very well, Seeker. I will be here if you change your mind.
The new age. And like always, change is birthed in fire and blood and pain. But a bright future is at hand for our people. You are one of the gifted, friend. Join us in the Machine God. The Church offers solace to all the augmented.
No.
God does not...
You! Stop right there! Yeah, you! Down on your knees! Hands behind
They
your
say that admitting to your fears is the first step in overcoming them.
Now, don't move.
The thought of those doors closing and being trapped in the metro
That's
car...
for me to find out.
I can't even finish the thought.
Then you have nothing to worry about.
Doors closing
Okay, hands behind your back. I know. You're innocent.
We will
just
not
like everyone
tolerate
else.
interference in a police procedure.
Oh, you're looking to do some damage around here? It's so easy to destroy things, but so much harder to build or to create. It's so easy to destroy things, but so much harder to build or to create. It's so easy to destroy things, but so much harder to build or to... This isn't so. And it has to be a violation of our rights.
This area is closed.
You feel that? Are you kidding me?
I fucking knew this would happen again! Disappear! Ha!
Come on. Together. It's too quiet.
Go away!
Oh no. Oh my god.
Nothing was excluded from investigations of these first scientists. Even the air became the subject of close examination by a Greek from Sicily named Empedocles. He made an astonishing discovery.
Street is off limits, or you're buck. Private function. All businesses are temporarily closed.
Water thief.
Fucking
it's
look.
A brazen sphere with a neck. The water is retained.
What the fuck?
Now, try to fill it with the neck covered with metal. Nothing happens. Why not? There's something in the way. Some material is blocking the access of the water into the sphere. I can't see any such material. What could it be?
Come on!
Empedocles identified it as air. What else? A thing you can't see can exert pressure, can frustrate my wish to fill this vessel with water if I were dumb enough to leave my thumb on the neck. Empedocles had discovered the invisible. Air, he thought, must be matter in a form so finely divided that it couldn't be seen. This hint, this whiff of the existence of atoms was carried much further by a contemporary named Democritus. Of all the ancient scientists, it is he who speaks most clearly to us across the centuries. The few surviving fragments of his scientific writings reveal a mind of the highest logical and intuitive powers. He believed that a large number of other worlds wander through space, that worlds are born and die, that some are rich in living creatures and others are drawn back. He was the first to understand that the Milky Way is an aggregate of the light of innumerable faint stars. Beyond campfires in the sky, beyond the milk of Hera, beyond the backbone of night, the mind of Democritus soared. He saw deep connections between the heavens and the earth. Man, he said, is a microcosm, a little cosmos. Democritus came from the Ionian town of Abdera on the northern Aegean shore. In those days, Abdera was the butt of jokes. If around the year 400 BC, in the equivalent of a little outdoor restaurant like this, you told a story about someone from Abdera, you were guaranteed a laugh. It was, in a way, its time. For Democritus, all of life was to be enjoyed and understood. In fact, for him, understanding and enjoyment were pretty much the same thing. He said, a life without festivity is a long road without an inn. Democritus may have come from Abdera, but he was no dummy. Democritus understood that the complex forms, changes, and motions of the material world all derived from the interaction of very simple moving parts. He called these parts atoms. All material objects are collections of atoms. intricately assembled, even we. When I cut this apple, the knife must be passing through empty spaces between the atoms, Democritus argued. If there were no such empty spaces, no void, then the knife would encounter some impenetrable atom, and the apple wouldn't be cut. Let's compare the cross-sections of the two pieces. Are the exposed areas exactly equal? No, said Democritus. The curvature of the apple forces this slice to be slightly shorter than the rest of the apple. If they were equally tall, then we'd have a cylinder and not an apple. No matter how sharp the knife, these two pieces have unequal cross-sections. But why? Because on the scale of the very small, matter exhibits some irreducible roughness. And this fine scale of roughness, Democritus of Abdera identified with the world of the atoms. His arguments are not those we use today, but they're elegant and subtle and derived from everyday experience. And his conclusions were fundamentally right. Democritus believed that nothing happens at random, that everything has a material cause. He said, I would rather understand one cause than be king of Persia. He believed that poverty in a democracy was far better than wealth in a tyranny. He believed that the prevailing religions of his time were evil, and that neither souls nor immortal gods existed. There is no evidence that Democritus was persecuted for his beliefs. But then again, he came from Abdera. However, in his time, the brief tradition of tolerance for unconventional views was beginning to erode. For instance, the prevailing belief was that the moon and the sun were gods. Another contemporary of Democritus, named Anaxagoras, taught that the moon was a place made of ordinary matter, and that the sun was a red-hot stone far away in the sky. For this, Anaxagoras was condemned, convicted, and imprisoned for impiety, a religious crime. People began to be persecuted for their ideas. A portrait of Democritus is now on the Greek 100 drachma note. But his ideas were suppressed and his influence on history made minor. The mystics were beginning to win. You see, Ionia was also the home of another quite different intellectual tradition. Its founder was Pythagoras, who lived here on Samos in the 6th century.
Street is off limits or your buck. Private function.
According to local legend, this cave was once his abode. Maybe that was once his living room.
It's not the place for you, Yoba!
This small Greek Orthodox shrine was erected on his front porch. There's a continuity of tradition from Pythagoras to Christianity. Pythagoras seems to have been the first person in the history of the world to decide that the Earth was a sphere.
I'll just wait here!
Perhaps he argued by analogy with the sun.
I'm going to flank
the curved shadow of the Earth on the moon during a lunar eclipse. Or maybe he recognized that when ships leave Samos, their masts disappear last. Pythagoras believed that a mathematical harmony underlies all of nature. The modern tradition of mathematical argument, essential in all of science, owes much to him. And the notion that the heavenly bodies move to a kind of music of the spheres is also derived.
To get to that alarm!
It was he who first used the word cosmos to mean a well-ordered and harmonious universe, a world amenable to human understanding.
We have to just clean out Golden City. We'd be heroes.
For this great idea, we are indebted to Pythagoras. But there were deep ironies and contradictions in his thoughts. Many of the Ionians believed that the underlying harmony and unity of the universe was accessible through observation and experiment, the method which dominates science today. However, Pythagoras had a very different method. He believed laws of nature could be deduced by pure thought. He and his followers were not basically experimentalists. They were mathematicians, and they were thoroughgoing mystics. They were fascinated by these 5 regular solids, bodies whose faces are all polygons, or triangles, or squares, or pentagons. There can be an infinite number of polygons, but only 5 regular solids. 4 of the solids were associated with earth, fire, air, and water. The cube, for example, represented earth. These 4 elements, they thought, make up terrestrial matter. So the 5th solid, they mystically associated with the cosmos. Perhaps it was the substance of the heavens. This 5th solid was called the dodecahedron. Its faces are pentagons, 12 of them. Knowledge of the dodecahedron was considered too dangerous for the public. Ordinary people were to be kept ignorant of the dodecahedron. In love with whole numbers, the Pythagoreans believed that all things could be derived from them, certainly all other numbers. So a crisis in doctrine occurred when they discovered that the square root of 2 was irrational. That is, the square root of 2 could not be represented as the ratio of 2 whole numbers, no matter how big they were. Irrational originally meant only that you can express a number as a ratio. But for the Pythagoreans, it came to mean something else, something threatening, a hint that their worldview might not make sense, the other meaning of irrational. Instead of wanting everyone to share and know of their discoveries, the Pythagoreans suppressed the square root of 2 and the dodecahedron. The outside world was not to know. The Pythagoreans had discovered, in the mathematical underpinnings of nature, one of the 2 most powerful scientific tools. The other, of course, is experiment. But instead of using their insight to advance the collective voyage of human discovery, they made of it little more than the hocus pocus of a mystery cult. Science and mathematics were to be removed from the hands of the merchants and the artisans. This tendency found its most effective advocate in a follower of Pythagoras named Plato. He preferred the perfection of these mathematical abstractions to the imperfections of everyday life. He believed that ideas were far more real than the natural world. He advised the astronomers not to waste their time observing the stars and planets. It was better, he believed, just to think about them. Plato expressed hostility to observation and experiment. He taught contempt for the real world and disdain for the practical application of scientific knowledge. Plato's followers succeeded in extinguishing the light of science and experiment that had been kindled by Democritus and the other Ionians. Plato's unease with the world as revealed by our senses was to dominate and stifle Western philosophy. Even as late as 1600, Johannes Kepler was still struggling to interpret the structure of the cosmos in terms of Pythagorean solids and Platonic perfection. Ironically, it was Kepler who helped re-establish the old Ionian method of testing ideas against observations. But why had science lost its way in the first place? What appeal could these teachings of Pythagoras and Plato have had for their contemporaries? They provided, I believe, an intellectually respectable justification for a corrupt social order. The mercantile tradition, which had led to Ionian science, also led to a slave economy. You could get richer if you owned a lot of slaves. Athens, in the time of Plato and Aristotle, had a vast slave population. All of that brave Athenian talk about democracy applied only to a privileged few. Plato and Aristotle were comfortable in a slave society. They offered justifications for oppression. They served tyrants. They taught the alienation of the body from the mind, a natural enough idea, I suppose, in a slave society. They separated thought from matter. They divorced the earth from the heavens. Divisions which were to dominate Western thinking for more than 20 centuries. The Pythagoreans had won. In the recognition by Pythagoras and Plato that the cosmos is knowable, that there is a mathematical underpinning to nature, they greatly advanced the cause of science. But in the suppression of disquieting facts, the sense that science should be kept for a small elite, the distaste for experiment, the embrace of mysticism, the easy acceptance of slave societies, their influence has significantly set back the human endeavor. The books of the Ionian scientists are entirely lost. Their views were suppressed, ridiculed, and forgotten by the Platonists and by the Christians who adopted much of the philosophy of Plato. Finally, after a long mystical sleep in which the tools of scientific inquiry lay moldering, the Ionian approach was rediscovered. The Western world reawakened. Experiment and open inquiry slowly became respectable once again. Forgotten books and fragments were read once more. Leonardo and Copernicus and Columbus were inspired by the Ionian tradition. The Pythagoreans and their successors held the peculiar notion that the earth was tainted, somehow nasty, while the heavens were pristine and divine. So the fundamental idea that the earth is a planet, that we're citizens of the universe, was rejected and forgotten. This idea was first argued by Aristarchus, born here on Samos 3 centuries after Pythagoras. He held that the earth moves around the sun. He correctly located our place in the solar system. For his trouble, he was accused of heresy. From the size of the Earth's shadow on the moon during a lunar eclipse, he deduced that the sun had to be much, much larger than the Earth, and also very far away. From this, he may have argued that it was absurd for so large an object as the sun to be going around so small an object as the Earth. So he put the sun, rather than the Earth, at the center of the solar system. And he had the Earth and the other planets going around the sun. He also had the Earth rotating on its axis once a day. These are ideas that we ordinarily associate with the name Copernicus. But Copernicus seems to have gotten at least some hint of these ideas by reading about Aristarchus. In fact, in the manuscript of Copernicus's book, he refers Aristarchus, but in the final version, he suppressed the citation. Resistance to Aristarchus, a kind of geocentrism in everyday life, is with us still. We still talk about the sun rising and the sun setting. It's 2,200 years since Aristarchus, and the language still pretends that the earth does not turn.
Hey, my favorite techno wonderkind. Sorry about the goons, man. They didn't give you too much trouble, did they?
They're not gonna be a problem anymore. What do they want? You behind on your protection money?
I don't think it's about money. I got this little misunderstanding with their boss, Otar. You know how it is with these gangster types.
Enough to know that there's no such thing as a little misunderstanding.
Diwali internal politics. I'm gonna get it sorted. Gonna see the big boss myself. As soon as things settle down. The day after a bombing, man, it's... Well, I mean, it's scary, right? I'm surprised people go out at all.
Sometimes people don't have a choice. My systems took a hit. I was hoping you could help me get everything running again.
Took a hit? You mean... Oh, shit! Why didn't you say so? We need to get you in the chair. The chair. You know, I've always wanted to get a closer look at those Sari fogs of yours. A real close look. So let's strap you in, get the gas going, and then, well, then I just need to sort of dive in. Feel my way around.
What exactly are you going to do to me?
I'm not sure yet. First, I gotta get in there to see what's wrong. But don't worry. I'm not gonna do anything to you I wouldn't do to myself. I promise. Besides, you've been here a few times. You know I'm professional.
You've never had to put me under before.
I never saw you the day after an explosion before either. That was a big shock to your system, man. Kaboom! Now, you want me to fix you or not?
Hang on a sec, you gonna put me under for how long? What if the Diwali send reinforcements?
Oh, you're just stalling. Those illiterates aren't going to get in here. Don't be scared of the chair, okay? The chair is gentle. I promise. This thing with the Diwali is nothing. Otar's pissing where he shouldn't.
I count on you to fix me, Kohler. To some extent, your problems are my problems.
That's sweet, Jensen. Otar Botkoveli is the Diwali #2 guy. The men outside, they were his men. But the big boss man is Radic Nikoladze. He is the #1 guy. And I know Radic, so don't worry about it. Now, are we gonna do this procedure, or what?
All right, let's just get this over with.
Relax, Jensen. It's gonna be fine. You won't even know I'm in there. You'll feel weightless, far away, like you're someone else. But Kohler's gonna bring you back and make you you again. Before you know it.
What?
Oh, thank God. Take it easy. I swear I didn't mean to... Your retinal display should be back soon. You can still move, right?
Where did you...
I was trying to connect the unconnected. But you got some strange fucking ogs back there. I mean, I probably shouldn't have... Here, let me get you some water. Or something stronger, maybe?
Water.
You got it, Jensen. Just ease out. Okay? Don't freak out. Rebooting was the only way to save you.
Save me from what, Kohler?
Core meltdown. You almost melted my chair. So I reset you, and I found these... I think it's better if I show you what I found. Bring up your system display. You need to see this for yourself. These are your implants. You're familiar with all these, right?
Yeah, David Seraph installed them. Took 2 years for my body to get used to everything.
Right. Well, I had to undo some of that getting used to.
What's going on, Kohler? Why do I feel different?
Something was trying to vampire the juice out of you. I couldn't figure out what until after the reboot. Turns out your Factory Zero is not the standard Factory Zero.
What am I looking at?
Experimental fucking test dogs, man. Hidden inside your body.
You're telling me I got more implants than I thought I did?
More than your body can handle. Pretty cool, right?
I'm not sure yet.
I want to show you what happens when you activate one of these suckers. See that? Major spike in your power consumption.
Where the hell did these things come from?
I can't answer that. All I know is the explosion must have woken them up. But man, you want to use these crazy fucking things? That's your right. We just gotta make sure it doesn't fry you. Now, I think I maybe got an idea on how to do that. Try shutting down one of your other implants. You know, just for fun. Go ahead, Jensen. Shut down one of the implants you're not using. See that? Cooled you right down. You have the power to balance your system if you want. Just, you know, don't activate everything all at once.
What would happen if I did?
Well, you'd suffer some major glitches due to overheating. We're talking risk of permanent damage. So, you know, maybe don't do that.
All right. Reset me now, Kohler. I'll reactivate what I need myself.
Okay, so I'm not always gonna be there for you like this. I can't just follow you around to reset things and hold your neural weave together. Whatever choices you make from here on out, they're your choices.
Thought you were supposed to be my AUG expert.
I specialize in Chinese black market, okay? The shit I found hidden inside you, spliced into your system like that, looks to me like it's from Mars, man.
I'm pretty sure they're not from Mars.
I feel bad. You deserve answers I can't give you. I can help manage your system better than anyone in Prague. Help you make the most of the new AUGs we just found.
But you can't tell me where the hell they came from. As far as I know, David Seraph installed all my AUGs. If there's something inside me I don't know about, he's the one I need to talk to.
I am familiar with Sarif's work. These new AUGs, they look different to me. I mean, that neodymium shell. Who uses dimorphic magnetorheological fluid like that? Seriously, if you talk to Sarif, you need to ask him that. Shit really stands out. Pretty fucking cool, actually.
You ever seen anything like this before? An AUG system that's deliberately hidden like that?
I don't know, Jensen. I mean, I heard of people getting the black market treatment before. Pass out in Prague, wake up in Shanghai. But usually they wake up with less AUGs, not more.
What exactly makes these AUGs so different from my other ones?
They look like experiments, is what. Loose wiring everywhere, man. It's like half of you is untested, unfinished, unbelievable. It's beautiful is what it is.
Why would Seraph have hidden these things inside me? I don't get it.
I am not convinced this is a Sarif job. The tech itself is super high-end, but the PDOT insulation, sloppy. The bone mounting, mounted on the quick. Just doesn't have Sarif's touch. Looks more like a retrofit to me. Something much more recent. Well, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking how much I hate being unconscious. You said these additions look recent. How recent?
Within the last 2 years, give or take. Something happened to you in that time?
I was pulled out of the ocean and put in some facility in Alaska to recover. It was a few months there that... the more I try to remember, the blurrier it gets.
Shit, Jensen. That's terrifying.
This tune-up went longer than I expected. Let's wrap this up.
Right. Here, take some Praxis kits for the trouble. Praxis solves everything. Keeps customers happy. Just, remember what I showed you about managing your juice. It's gonna be a balancing act for you. Well, unless...
Unless what, Kohler?
There could be a way to optimize. It's just... It would involve getting something from Otar. A neuroplasticity calibrator.
There's a way for me to use everything I have without compromise? I want to know about it.
I was hoping you'd say that. I order all my fancy tech from this illegal catalog, right? But my last shipment got intercepted by Otar Botkoveli.
The same Otar whose men were looking for books out there before?
I am not going to force you. I want you to want to do it. I want you to want to be an augmented god among men. If that sounds like something that interests you, then you should know that Otar runs an underground casino in the Chisti district. The entrance is in a small courtyard off Hlavny Street.
Thanks for the info, Kohler. Thanks for the praxis.
Victim in high school.
No objection.
All right, 393A, plaintiffs and
The matter is, Johnny, they don't know. None of your friends, whether they saw a tiny fraction, that was the tip of an iceberg. Tip of an iceberg. That was my reaction to yet again this happening. That is the tip of the iceberg. It's a validation of whatever, of telling your friends or whatever they think about me or whatever. Fine. But they only saw a tip of an iceberg. None of your friends
Let me ask you a
and
question.
none of this team have actually been there for one of our fights. They've never actually seen it. Have they been in the hallway? Yeah. Have they seen it? Baby, that is absolutely not true. They have not. Because right, he broke a part of it, but he is not in there. No one has actually been there for a fight in its entirety. No, exactly. So stop using that as some sort of excuse like this. Yeah, they know they work for no other girlfriends.
What you were discussing.
Jensen, it's Miller.
Set up hidden recording.
Listen, I need your eyewitness
Johnny would
report
often
as soon as
use the
possible.
fact that
What's your ETA?
Depends on how many cops ask to see my
employees, his
papers.
loyal staff would back him
Not
up
much I
in
can do
fights,
about state police after
and
yesterday's
that
attack.
they would-
Get in when you
he
can.
would
Miller out.
constantly threaten to call them in to validate him, threaten to call them to come into the room, to have them back up him and say that it was, you know, that my yelling or that I'm at fault, that I'm in the wrong, that it's all me. And he would do that in almost all of our fights, especially at by 2015, that he would call his friends and he'd call his staff in to back him up. so that I knew and would accept that I'm at fault and that I'm wrong. And that was, what I had to agree to.
I hate that these terrorists are winning. My friend is terrified to ride the metro after what happened at the Bruzika.
So we could move the conversation along. That was his MO, if you will. He'd call people that work for him.
They say that admitting to your fears is the first step in overcoming them.
Could you please just tell the jury, and we'll go through this one relatively briefly, tell the jury about Thanksgiving and any altercations you had with Mr. Depp on that occasion?
Coke.
Objection, called for speculation.
Sustained that objection.
How do you know he was disappearing with Mr. Manson and Coke?
That's what I knew of their relationship at the time. And
Objection, called for speculation.
I sustained the objection.
All right.
So he got up for a longer period of time, not the normal every 5 minutes to go to the bathroom kind, but like he just appeared. It affected my safety. Dealing with somebody who's really high, dealing with Johnny high on coke and speed, meaning Adderall or some version of that, is different from the opiate Johnny, which is different from the booze Johnny, or a different combination. And there was talk of Quaaludes at the time, and Johnny was trying to get it from.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
I'll sustain the objection. Oh, yes.
So I wanted to know what I was dealing with. It was important to my safety to know who.
Objection, non-responsive.
That's why I followed him.
All right. So what did you do next?
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
What did you do next?
I went upstairs to the apartment, the main apartment, not the apartment that we were celebrating Thanksgiving in, to try to figure out what was going on. And we had an argument that took place downstairs, and I said something to provoke Johnny. I went up the stairs ahead of him to get back to the party. He grabbed me at the top of the stairs, kind of through the stairs actually, by my shirt. Kind of flung me a little bit, but I just remember I went into the bedroom, kind of retreated into the bedroom. I had a glass of wine in my hand at the time, which spilled everywhere and shattered, and I kind of retreated into the bedroom. Johnny came in after me, and there was this heavy vintage style glass decanter. He picked up the decanter and hurled it at my head, my face. It missed, thankfully, but smashed into a piece of art behind me in the bedroom wall above the bed. I got past him. I think there might have been a bit of shoving. I can't really recall in the sequence of when that happened, but I wanted to go back downstairs, and I passed my closet. I had to change my shirt, and I went back downstairs to the party to finish the evening out, and I put on a face, and we finished the evening with the guests, and then more fighting happened afterwards.
So we talked about December 15, 2015, last Thursday, and also the Bahamas over the holidays. But I did miss one picture.
Shirts off
so
like
you
they're
bring up
free.
Defendant's Exhibit 518. Amber, does that accurately depict the scene portrayed?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, I'd like to move the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 518.
Anybody notice she's not crying today? After
This is from
XQC put up the cry
December
counter
15.
on her?
I believe, could you just please tell the jury what this depicts?
Yes, it's a picture of my bruised temple. Johnny had his hand on my on part of my face with my face down, and I was punching my head. I'm repeatedly punching my head.
That's a bruise from punching your head repeatedly?
Now,
Fuck off.
we went through the Bahamas before, and you returned from the Bahamas sometime late December, early January.
That's not a bruise from
correct?
one punch.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to take you to January, February of 2016. Can you please describe to the jury what was going on with you and Johnny in this January timeframe after this December 15 incident?
Hopefully everybody on this jury has been
After the Bahamas, Johnny's sobriety fell apart. There was just none of it. It was, so he stopped communicating with the medical team that he had hired.
Objection calls for speculation.
How do you know that?
I was there, and they fired him.
Objection calls for hearsay.
I'll sustain your objection.
Okay. Without telling what the medical people did, go ahead and tell what was going on with you and Johnny.
Yeah, his mental health, for lack of what it looked like, his mental health was just falling apart. That's what it looked like.
Objection calls for speculation.
I'll sustain your objection.
What did you observe that led you to believe that his mental health was falling apart?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation.
You can say what you
Leading.
observed.
I'll sustain the objection as to leaving. Next question.
What, if anything, did you observe about Mr. Depp's state?
He was hallucinating. Auditory.
Objection calls for speculation.
I cannot know he's hallucinating.
I'll sustain the objection.
Please tell the jury exactly what he was doing that led you to believe he was hallucinating.
Objection leading.
Sustain.
What, if anything, was Mr. Depp doing that would have led you to believe he was hallucinating?
Same
Sustained.
objection.
Sustained.
What?
You can't
Please
say what, if
describe
anything.
what Mr. Depp was saying in January of 2016.
He was talking to people who weren't there.
You're Elaine getting
Meaning
pissed?
people who were not in
Keep
the room.
doing
He was
it.
communicating people and sounds and voices that weren't there. I know because I was sometimes in the room, sometimes on the phone with him. And he would tell me I had a conversation with him that I did not have. He would say I said something that I didn't have. He would comment on somebody being in the room behind me that wasn't there. It was terrifying. It was terrifying because once he smashed a board right next to my face, and it was unclear to me whether he was even mad at me or he was convinced that the guy he said he saw me with was in the room. I didn't know if Johnny felt the man was in the room with us or not at that point. But I remember he put his fist through a whiteboard in the kitchen.
Oh, did he?
He hallucinated
Put his fist
right
through a
through a
whiteboard.
Objection calls for speculation.
Don't use the word hallucinate. Just describe what led you to believe.
Your Honor.
I'll
Objection.
sustain the objection. She can testify to what she observed.
Please, thank you, Your Honor. Please tell the jury what you
Your Honor,
observed.
may we approach?
Okay.
Yeah, get her, Camille. Get her, Camille. Ripping her apart with those objections. Elaine hates it.
You telling me you
Oh
don't
man,
think
good
you should
good
all
stuff.
be
This is good.
moved?
Very good lawyering by Camille Vasquez. Very good. She's on top of it. She's not going to let Elaine narrate a bunch of hippy-dippy bullshit into the record on this. So good work. Punch through a whiteboard, huh? Johnny Depp can leave a tiny little mark from repeated punches on your temple, but he can punch through a
What you
whiteboard.
observed.
Come on now.
I observed behavior from him that was erratic, irrational, and didn't seem connected to the reality that we were in.
Now I'm going to take you up to the beginning of February of 2016, February 8, February 9. Please tell the jury what transpired then with respect to Mr. Depp.
Around this time, Johnny was, again, behaving in a way that was very scary. It was terrifying, and sometimes he didn't know.
Objection calls for speculation.
I think she can describe what she's. What are you describing what you're observing?
Yes.
Please continue.
What he knows is what you're observing?
In these kind of discussions I would have around this time, early February of 2016, sometimes in the argument, he would accuse me of something, some person in the room with me that had just walked out or I was hiding, for instance. And sometimes he would hold on to that, even when he seemed to have calmed down or come off of whatever bender he was on. And it was almost as if I had to confront what delusion he had or what belief he had or what accusation he made of me in a new fight altogether. Sometimes he didn't make it clear to me whether he was mad at me or he knew he was mad at me. It was terrifying because I bore the brunt of it. And around the 8th or 9th, we were in his Sweetser compound, the West Hollywood collection of homes that he has. And I got some cryptic texts from him in the early morning hours that scared me. I won't say what I said, but I came over to his main house. I believe I'd been across the street, and I slept on the couch. We had some interaction in the morning, which made me fearful. He didn't know whether or not I was fearful he was going to believe that he was angry at me, even though we weren't fighting. I wasn't fighting with him. I had done nothing wrong, but I was really worried
Didn't do nothing.
that the momentum he was on was going to click into a direction of deciding that he was mad at me and I deserved it. And I was terrified that that was going to happen. So I had an interaction with him and got really worried about that on the morning of the 10th.
All right. Michelle, I'm going to ask you to bring up Defendant's Exhibit 638. It's already admitted in evidence, Your Honor. This is from February 10, 2016. And I'm going to ask you to play it, Michelle.
I can't wait for TMZ to copy claim this again.
What happened? What happened?
What happened? We saw this during Johnny's cross exam, but they get to bring it up and let Amber talk about it. Get it! Stupid cabinet.
Nothing happened this morning, you know that?
Were you in here?
No.
So nothing happened to you?
Yeah, you're right. I just woke up and you were so asleep. We were not even fighting this morning. All I did was say sorry.
Did something happen to you this morning? I don't think so.
No, that's the thing.
You want to see crazy? Don't you get fucking crazy.
A mega pint!
Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're crazy.
Have you drunk this whole thing this morning?
Oh, you got this going? You got this going? Oh, really? Really?
Why? So, nothing happened to her this morning. So Johnny Depp was having a bad day.
You were smashing shit.
Deciding that he was mad at me and I deserved it. And I was terrified that that was going to happen. So I had an interaction with him and got really worried about that on the morning of the 10th.
All right. Michelle, I'm going to ask you to bring up Defendant's Exhibit 638. It's already admitted in evidence, Your Honor. This is from February 10, 2016. And I'm going to ask you to play it, Michelle.
I can't wait for TMZ to copy claim this again.
What happened?
What happened?
What happened? We saw this during Johnny's cross exam, but they get to bring it up and let Amber talk about it. Get it! Stupid cabinet.
Nothing happened this morning. No.
Nothing happened to you.
Yeah, you're right. I just woke up and you were so asleep. We're not even fighting this morning. All I did was say sorry.
Did something happen to you this morning? I don't think so.
No, that's the thing.
You want to see crazy? Don't you get fucking crazy. That's crazy.
A mega pint!
Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're crazy.
Have you drunk this whole thing this morning?
Oh, you got this going? You got this going? Oh, really? Really?
Why? So, nothing happened to her this morning. So Johnny Depp was having a bad day.
You were smashing shit.
Telling me you don't? So you had a bad phone call? I mean, who knows?
Why did you videotape this?
It doesn't involve her.
Stay quiet.
Because I was afraid for my
Because
life.
I knew he wouldn't remember.
Objection, calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Rather than what you knew, you can say what you thought. Just tell us why you...
I was afraid. It was scary. It's scary.
What's scary?
Scared. Scared they wouldn't remember.
Objection, calls for speculation.
Wouldn't remember what?
Sustained objection.
Nothing happened, according to both you and him, to you. So what were you scared of? You clearly weren't there.
I'm going to now take you
for whatever
out
pissed
to
him off.
April 21, 2016, your 30th birthday party. Will you please tell the jury what happened that night with respect to, in particular, Mr. Depp?
At that time we had a fitting that day or the day before, and he missed it, and he was kind of disappearing at that time, like at night.
Some great questions.
Vaguely
for break. Can't wait.
saying like meetings, he had meetings, but then he'd be gone for sometimes like 2 days. And I'm just not coming home and that sort of thing. Coming home after a bender.
Calls for speculation
worse.
as to Bender.
I don't think that calls for speculation.
It does.
Gone for 2 days.
And I had my birthday was coming up, and or on my birthday I said, well, you gotta make it to my birthday party. We had a dinner planned at our penthouse. I said it would be important for me if you made it.
Objection, hearsay.
Not offered to prove the truth.
Overruled.
And he told me at some point that day that he had scheduled a business meeting or a money meeting, I think he said, maybe, at 7, which is around the time my birthday was
planned for. It might have been planned for 8 p.m. He, of course, once my party was starting, he wasn't there. Texted me at some point to let me know that he was going to make it, but that he was running late. And that continued throughout my party. We finished dinner, and we were cleaning up, and kind of everyone was still leaving because we were waiting to give him an opportunity to show up before everyone left. And he let me know he was there. You know, I tried to, without saying what I said, I tried to give him the impression that I wasn't going to get on him about drinking or anything. I just wanted him to be there. And
come to my party, I'll let you drink.
A toast. We did a celebratory toast. And the guests left. And later that evening, we were in bed, and I had a book, and Johnny effectively said, what's your fucking problem now?
This Human Restoration Act.
And at the time we were getting advice from therapists without saying what they said. It was important for me not to make him feel attacked. So I chose my words carefully. I won't say what I said, but I remember being very careful about how I worded what I was feeling about my birthday and him having missed it. An argument followed that. I got up out of bed. Johnny's side of the bed was closer to the door than mine. I remember him blocking the door, blocking me to get out, kind of shoving me down, and we had a verbal argument, and then that became a shoving match. I tried to shove him back. I kind of felt myself retreat into the bedroom. At some
You're heading into TF-29 already?
Our enemies aren't waiting around while we lick our wounds.
Fair enough. There'll be a data port on the NSN's motherboard. Access it and then just plug and play. Or plug and record in this case.
Got it. I'll let you know when it's done.
These guys who crashed the Dubai off, we still have no idea who they were?
Nah, we're looking into it. You were right. If it weren't for Jensen, things would have been much worse. Jensen, we were discussing the Dubai op.
This is bad. We need to increase security at the CDC.
On my lids.
The police response to the attack wouldn't have been...
Listen up, team. What's our status? Where was that chopper headed?
I have 3 airfields in Qatar that are promising, but they're privately owned, and nobody can get close enough to take a look.
I got a whole lot of nothing. Every time I send someone to follow up on a lead, it turns out the buildings are abandoned, burned out, or bombed into rubble.
Jesus Christ.
Satellite footage has identified 3 possibles, but based on what the roads look like around them, I don't think our crashers would have chosen them.
Well, they were gonna take all those weapons somewhere. I want to know where now.
I'll nail it.
Adam, you're here. You made it in. It's good to see you're okay.
Hey, Aria, yeah, it was a close call. I got lucky. A lot of people didn't.
I was here working when the first reports came in. It was chaos. Phones ringing off the hook, people yelling, scrambling to find out what was going on. Then when Miller told me you were there,
I'm all right.
Good. You looking for him? Because he's tied up right now and meeting with Leon, I think.
Really? He's using the NSN right now?
Yeah, I just saw him. Oh, hey, that reminds me, here's yours.
What's this?
The card for the shooting range. Chang changed all the codes this morning, said something about only giving access to people he's vetted personally. The bombing really freaked him out. Third one in 6 months, can you believe it? I'm really glad you're okay.
Thanks, Arya. I'll let you get back to what you were doing.
Yeah, I better get back downstairs. It's gonna be a busy day. Come by later if you want to talk.
Copy that.
Close my eyes, bro. One of them would.
I think Singh's got some kind of adrenaline addiction. He plays it too close to the edge.
He made it out of Dubai, didn't he?
I'm telling you, if it had been anyone but Jensen on the ground, Singh would be dead.
Well, you know what? I think you're right about that.
First the Dubai mission and now the train station bombing. This is a week for the record books. They say bad things come in threes.
I've got to hand it to you
for
for your role in Dubai.
Because I don't think we're equipped to handle another terror
I'm not afraid
problem
of
this
little
week.
enemy fire, but I know I couldn't have done what you did for Singh.
One of them would pop up.
I'm not afraid of a little enemy fire, but I know I couldn't have done what you did for Singh.
We need to know. I've been everywhere for the past week.
Jensen, we need to talk. My God, Jensen, I heard about the explosion.
We're fine, Chang.
The police station, the train station, we're next. I can feel.
No one knows where we are. There's no reason.
That's where you're wrong. They're trying to pull the lid off of us, Jensen, or someone is. Praha Dovos just got hacked.
Our building's front company. Thought it was fake.
I wish it was fake. Miller's got me cleaning up IntelliCam footage from the attack to help figure out who these people are. Meanwhile, maybe they're trying to figure out who we are? Why else poke into an import company?
You think someone's figured out that the company's a front? Maybe they know what's really down here. All right, you have any leads?
I traced our hacker snoop to an unrented apartment.
You're kidding.
See? You feel it now.
It's never that simple.
Just get into that apartment.
I'll look into it.
Urgent. Katerina Noyan to Agent McCready's office. Agent Noyan.
Devastating terror attack. Dozens were
I've run
killed
DNA checks for all the
yesterday when bombs exploded inside Rasica train station. I do not need to remind you folks that this is the third such attack to strike Prague in 6 months. All of them occurring after Dr. Talis
You'd think
Recker,
one of them would pop
leader of
up
the
on some
Augmented
lists.
Rights Coalition, took up residence in the neighboring Udalek complex. Dr. Augmented in a world that has turned
Patience is the first thing you learn.
These are the chances you missed.
Out myself
he,
retreat.
Picked up like a large, I guess it's a magnum size, not a normal size, a large size bottle of champagne, hurled it at me. This time it went through a painting, and I loved this painting. I remember it just went like right through the canvas, left a giant hole in it.
Yeah, didn't take a picture of that though.
And
Nobody.
I remember thinking we shouldn't have art in our bedroom anymore. And the argument, the fight continued into the salon area, which is outside of our bedroom at the top of the stairs. Johnny picked up my phone. I don't know why. I don't remember what he was saying when he did it, but he picked up my phone and threw it out of the open window of the salon area, out onto the street, out onto the downtown street that this window overlooked. In that moment, I went, oh no you don't. I saw his on the countertop and picked it up and threw his immediately, like 2 seconds later. I didn't want to be stranded this time alone, meaning I didn't want to be the only one stranded without a phone, which had happened to me already several times.
Anomaly detected.
From Johnny.
Trace program initiated.
And I said that I wanted to go stay somewhere else for the evening. I left that room, went into the office. We were still screaming names at each other and screaming
Trace program
at each other.
Initiated.
And I walk around the side of his desk, and the next thing I know, he has me by the hair and pulls me down kind of right to the side of the desk. I remember things flying off of the side of the desk that I hit with my body. I remember trying to
bruise from that?
fight him off of me. At some point, we're back in my main bedroom, and I believe I was getting my toothbrush out of the bathroom, and when I came out, we had another shoving match. But this one, he kind of I remember he chest bumped me in this like bro-y way, chest bumped me, fell to the floor, and when I got back up, he kind of held me down by the shoulders, down on the side of the bed, kind of held me, wrestled me down on the bed. I remember I got up once or twice before I ended up on the bed, and he grabbed me.
Weird, it's already picking up a freak.
Thing.
Jesus, Adam, is Miller in there right now?
Taught me, grabbed me by the pubic bone. Pubic
Jensen, I need to see you now.
As best I can describe it.
Grabbed her by the pussy again.
Pushed me down, held me down by it, and then kind of pulled me into it, and he was asking me and taunting me, asking if I thought I was so fucking tough. You're such a fucking tough guy, huh? Are you so tough now? Look who's so tough. You want to be a man? Tough like a man now?
You tough like a man? That's why I'll grab your vagina.
Happened for a bit of time. I'm not quite sure. I think at some point he left. I remember at some point shortly
Agent Singh.
after
Wasn't
that,
expecting to see
I remember he was...
you again, in civvies at least.
Just passing through. I wanted to thank your team for the backup in Dubai. That sting went to hell faster than the storm did.
You're welcome, but I don't think you came all this way to say thanks.
Director Miller asked me to get Agent McCready up to speed. Now I have the red-eye flight back to Oman.
Headed into the field office there?
Not exactly. One of our black sites. I'll be dropped in as a captured enemy combatant.
Re-embedding with the Jinn.
No choice. That ambush knocked everyone on their asses.
You're thinking the Jinn can get a beat on our gate crashers faster than TF-20?
Perhaps.
Yeah, once. But it's... I don't envy what you've...
Actually, I'm looking forward to it. The truth is, when you've been under for long enough, you won't feel like an imposter out here, in the real world.
Yeah, I understand the feeling.
Agent Jensen. Transit authority isn't in as much of a hurry as you are then. Half the Cybercrimes Division is combing the web for anything.
First the Dubai mission, and now the train station bombing. This is a week for the record books.
I've got to hand it to you for your role in Dubai.
Agent Jensen reporting for duty, sir. Tried to do it earlier, but you were on a conference call.
Yeah, I was. Should I be worried about you, Jensen?
Sorry?
That blow you took to your systems. It's not messing with your head or anything, making you do things.
I'm not gonna go crazy and start attacking people, if that's what you're worried about.
You've been checked out then. The problem with your orgs is gone.
I took care of it.
Good, good. God knows with all that's happened, I need you at 100% right now.
You sounded pissed when you called me in. Everything okay?
Don't ever leave the field, Jensen. You'll regret it. As soon as you strap a desk to your ass, you'll be swimming in goddamn politics.
The boss is giving you trouble?
What? Oh, that. No, the trouble's state police. They're pushing us out of the Rosika investigation. I want you over there to make sure that doesn't happen.
You're putting me on the train station attack? Not Dubai?
Forget Dubai. McCready's handling it.
Good. Thought I'd have to fight him to let me handle this one. Whoever planted those bombs yesterday has a lot to answer for.
Agreed. And we have to find out who they are before the state police fuck up our crime scene.
You said they're trying to push us out?
I sent Fletcher in this morning to oversee evidence collection. Seems he's being detained, because he hasn't checked in since.
They can't lock us out. The Czech Republic signed our UN mandate agreement. They gave us jurisdiction over terrorist investigations.
Yeah, well, the former director of their security information services runs state police now. He's come up with a loophole, claiming this attack falls under the homegrown terror exemption.
Homegrown? He's saying it's ARC? The Augmented Rights Coalition?
I don't care what he's saying. He may even be right. I just want us in there so we can find out.
Chang said you've got him cleaning up Intellicam footage that was captured during the bombing. Maybe it can tell us something.
Maybe. But between you and me, Chang's become a little more unglued since Rosika. Not sure we can wait for him to get his shit together.
So where do I start?
Technically, you're supposed to speak to our psychologist before getting back into action.
I don't need a shrink.
Convenient because she's not in the office right now, and I don't want to waste any more time.
So how do I get to Rosika? Public transportation's not stopping there.
It will for you once I make a phone call. Head to the metro and call me when you're there. Good luck, Agent.
was still in the apartment when this happened, but I remember kind of collapsing on the floor and being exhausted.
I know when I want to show
I
someone.
remember feeling exhausted and
Be a man, I grab by
kind of throwing in
lady
the towel,
genitalia.
if you will. I remember saying to him, just, can we not fight like this? Like, can we start over? Is there anything that we can do? Like, this is really messed up, but can we just not do this, please? Can we stop doing this? Just don't leave. It's my birthday. Let's just call it couch. Let's call it truce and not have it end like this. I don't want to have it end like this. I was just so tired and hurt. And I remember crying and feeling ridiculous that after this I would be crying and saying these things. I'm embarrassed saying it now. he responded, coolly.
Alex,
I fucking deserve.
did we get anything from the whisper chip?
I'd wake up alone.
We got something, but Jane has provided the wrong algorithm for the frequencies, so they aren't getting deciphered correctly.
Can you fix it?
I'm a pilot, not a programmer. I can do it, but it's gonna take some time.
What they say. Sorry if I was rude before. If the store...
We all have a role.
Good luck finding the people who hacked us. Hopefully it will turn out to be nothing.
Take my advice. If you were thinking about shipping something with these people, don't. I knew I should never...
Bad enough when he was just drugs. I hate this job. Everybody looks at me like I'm a monster.
To má být nějaký žert? Hele, už mám dost problémů od polišů, nepotřebuji, aby mě otravoval nějaký cizinec.